everybody. My name is Bobby, aka Gradius, and I am joined tonight by.
Thomas, aka Noble Apocalypse. Hello.
This is episode number 4
Number 4.
of Beacon 147, a Star Citizen podcast.
That's right.
So tonight we are going to talk about a lot of cool stuff that has just been announced. Hangar module. We got the 24-hour live stream coming up. Lots of cool information released about the Vanduul Scythe ship. Scythe, whichever, I guess. We're going to update you guys on the Star Citizen membership cards or citizen cards. Membership cards. It's like a club.
It is. It's a very exclusive club.
And we're going to, give a couple shout outs out to some folks who've, in the Star Citizen community who have really, helped bring some information out to the public and also have gotten some exclusive stuff shown to them from RSI, and we're going to be showing you some of that as well. So, to dive right on in, I guess, we're going to talk about the Hangar module.
Yeah.
Wow. So, they release this video, right? And they show you the Hangar module, and I guess the way it works is you get to see every ship that you've purchased in a 3D rendered hangar. You can get out, you walk around your ship. I don't know. Have they said that we're going to be able to walk inside of our ships yet?
I might have missed that. I didn't see it personally, but I assume that you are going to be able to walk in. I'm almost positive now that I say that. I think I remember reading that somewhere, and I think you are going to get to walk in your ships and sit in your cockpit. I don't think you're going to get to turn them on and fly around, but
fly inside the hangar, right?
Yeah, let me practice parking. But
right?
I don't think I do think that you are going to get to walk around the inside of your ships. Now, mentioning that you're going to be able to see all of your ships in there, it's going to be dynamically expanding. So if you have,
isn't that freaking crazy?
Yeah. But something that we only saw, or that I saw in the videos, were the small ships. It was the 300 Eyes. It was the Hornets. It wasn't the Constellations. It wasn't the bigger ships. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work out with the larger ships. But hell, I'll take a preview any day, to get a little information. But it's really cool how they've built it in that it is going to be dynamic and expand to, allow you to see more of your ships.
Heck yeah. I mean, you get out of your, you're walking around one ship, you get out of it, you'll have like a whole line of freaking, well, assuming you bought that many ships,
right?
You'll have all kinds of stuff in there. And I wonder if, like, you bought 2 of the Auroras, like you have the Aurora and you bought that Aurora LX, if you have 2 separate ones, if you're going to see both of those in there.
I would assume that you would see both of them, definitely.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool. We'll have some, I think we're going to have some video of that as well.
Yeah, the Hangar module, they didn't give us an exact release date, concreted down, but I do think we're going to receive that late summer, early fall time frame. So as we get closer and closer to that date, and about to transition in the 24-hour live stream, I'm sure we're just going to see more and more of that and have some of those dates a little bit more hammered down. Now, speaking about the 24-hour live stream, the date has been announced for the second 24-hour live stream. The first one was much earlier than this, but this will be your opportunity to catch it if you're a new subscriber or an existing subscriber and want to get the latest information. That's going to start Friday, June 28th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time or 1600 UTC, and that's going to follow. It's going to start with Spaceman's Parking Lot or Wingman's Hangar, for those of you that want to call it by its proper name. And during this time, we're going to see...
Spaceman's Parking Lot is obviously...
I totally prefer Spaceman's Parking Lot. And during this time, we're definitely going to get the new website. So this is going to be, about that time frame to hit that $10 million milestone marker. I guess we've got about exactly from the date of recording, about 1 month to get just south of $200,000, which I think we're going to get. So
$10 million.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and it's not just just people subscribing or adding on to their pledge. The number of the number of pledgers continues to go up, so the game is continuing to build steam and momentum, and this is just awesome. And I'm certain that we're going to see an appearance of the infamous Lamp. Will be returning to this. So those of you who are fans of Lamp, I'm sure Lamp will make a reappearance. So more than just that 24-hour live stream, this is the date that you can expect, or sometime near, if not the exact date and time, that we will see the new website launch as well. So we talked about that in one of our previous episodes. So we'll get our first real hands-on look at that new website. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Speaking about the $10 million, I'm crossing my fingers. I am really crossing my fingers that they can get Freddie Prinze Jr. to do some celebrity voice acting. I know you're probably gagging right now. I can't see you, but I know you're gagging.
I have grown to appreciate his voice acting.
Oh no!
In Mass Effect 3 with the
all right.
with the Citadel DLC, he kind of came into his own, and I stopped seeing Freddie Prinze Jr. and started to see the character he was portraying. So
he played was it Joker?
No, that was Seth Green. He played.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he played the big steroided up Marine. Name is slipping my mind. Oh my God, how can I forget this? Sometimes when you're watching a show, you can kind of associate a voice with a character. I could never see him as a big, huge Marine guy. Oh, why is his name? Oh, Gradius.
I did it. It's gonna plague you for the rest of the night.
Why did you do this to me?
We'll move on, and I'm sure later in the show you'll be like, "It was that guy."
Oh, I hate you so much right now.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr., man. We have to give him a shout out in almost every episode we do.
Yeah.
So, all right, kind of looking at the next topic that we have here, the Vanduul Scythe, and I know that we talked about
Vega, James Vega. All right, I'm good now.
Okay. Good. Wow. So we talked about was it me saying Vanduul? Was that did that help you out there?
I think it was not my quick Google searching in the background.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we
totally
have
remember that.
Right, the Vanduul Scythe. Now I know that we talked about this. Was it last time? If it wasn't last time, it was time before.
Yeah,
we talked about the
Vanduul
Vanduul warships. Yeah. So we looked at the Scythe, but now they've added or they've released a full almost engineering markup document.
Right.
Providing all the details for this ship.
I believe that this information, they link directly to it, and I'm a little bit behind on the subscriber magazine, but I think this information is in that subscriber magazine as well. But of course, we'll put a link to it. But you were go ahead and continue what you were saying. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, they were commenting about the ship and I guess what their idea was behind the design. And if you look at a lot of the sci-fi movies, Star Wars, Star Trek, every spaceship that you see, usually for the most part is symmetrical.
Right.
The Enterprise symmetrical, X-wings symmetrical, freaking Death Star, it's a sphere.
Right.
This time, Chris really wanted the ship to look, I guess, what they called like a flying weapon, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh well, I was just going to say, that Jim Martin, who is the artist behind it, worked with Chris Olivier. I might have that name wrong. He was the creator of the Vanduul Warrior model that we're seeing more and more of, and we also see later on in this article, as well as CG Bot to develop the in-game model. And we kind of see it from drawing board to spaceflight. We see it from where Chris, just says, "Hey, I want the ship to look like a flying weapon," and going from that into Chris going, "Let's see it in an asymmetrical format." And going straight from there. It's really impressive to see these sketches and these early pre-renderings and pre-visits of what the final ship is going to look like.
Yeah, it is nice. I don't know. If you look at the Hornet, right, or the Constellation, or those other types of ships, the Aurora, they are symmetrical, right? So it is nice to have a ship that looks and feels more alien. It's I don't know. I don't really know a better word than to describe it other than alien. Just asymmetrical alien, and it does look like a flying freaking weapon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of the things that they use to describe it, they have one wing that's described as the gun wing, and then they have the other wing that's described as the knife wing. And when gun and knife, it doesn't get much more weapony than that. But they mentioned, they wanted to focus not only on the function of the ship, but the form. And all too often in any game, it's always, form first and then function. And even in beloved, science fiction franchises, we don't really get a good sense of scale of ships, or we don't see weapons, scaling the visual look of this ship or weapon or whatever it happens to be doesn't necessarily match what you think it would be. I mean, the original, Starship Enterprise is a flea in comparison to the latest iteration of the Starship Enterprise, the EDEF
Right. Yeah, because they went from like the Constellation class to the Galaxy class to the super crazy whatever class.
Right. So you don't really get a sense of true perspective and scale. But Chris was very specific. He said, I want this ship to be, look kind of like a flying weapon. I want it to have, heavy guns. I want it to be asymmetrical. But I want it to look like a dogfighter. It wasn't, a single man piloted dogfighter. So it's very refreshing to me, being a fan of science fiction and physics and all of that coming together and making a believable, realistic story, that they are focusing a lot on function and form. It's not one or the other.
You have a text message.
I do indeed have a text message, and I'm going to casually look off to the side to read that.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I liked, and this is actually something that we were talking about prior to even starting up this whole series, was the scythe, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were looking at the trailer and watching the combat video where the group of scythes were attacking the Bengal carrier, and you mentioned it had flaps.
I hate flaps in
right.
space.
But now that I think about it more,
yeah,
I can understand flaps if the ship was designed to go into an atmosphere, but the more and more I look at this particular ship design, the weight balance would be off on the wings too, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess you could compensate for that with thrusters or whatever, but it almost seems to me like the scythe is really just like a space superiority,
Right, and a lot of it is too.
I don't know.
A lot of it too is the aesthetic, and
yeah.
when they talked about how the the knife wing blade thing will extend, and the flaps will come out. A lot of that is the aesthetic of it, and I can appreciate that. When he explained it to that, it wasn't just we're going to use bad physics in space to make it there because it looks cool. It was, physics be damned, it doesn't matter that it does this. It's simply doing it because it looks cool. But
we want it to look mean.
We want it to look mean. It's not just we're going to put flaps there to give it the illusion of having a function. No,
they're totally not solar sails.
Right. I mean, it's cool. I mean, we see that like in animals. They puff up and make themselves look bigger for that intimidation factor. So I mean, just imagining the flaps extending out and the knife blade wing expanding. It does make it
I can see that.
far more intimidating in a combat type situation. So I can respect that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thinking about it from an aesthetics thing, I guess I can take the flaps equation out of my head.
Yeah, but I mean that was. I mean, I'm one of those people. I will nitpick something to death if it's not just right. The doing something just for we think it looks badass, so we're gonna try to make it work. I don't like, but I do like the idea of we're doing this because we want it to look badass, but the reason we're doing that's not just to look badass. I don't know if I'm phrasing it right. It almost seems like I'm contradicting myself, but
yeah, no, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? We want it to look aggressive and mean, so we added that to make it look aggressive and mean, and that posturing is there. That makes sense. It's not we're going to have fake space flaps, so when it's turning in space, the flaps move up and down so it turns appropriately, because there's no such thing as aerodynamics in a vacuum. So, but I definitely love how they create a ship, knowing its role and its stats in mind. That is just that prevents that kind of perspective thing. I would hate to think that Vandal scythe is going to be as large as a constellation. That makes no sense. But with Chris saying, this is the role of what it's going to do. These are the stats it's going to have.
Sounds
Make
like
a ship that looks like this, that matches that. It's refreshing.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, further on in that document, I mean, if you want to read it, we're going to link to it. They go on further to discuss, the lighting and coloring of the ship and, how the decals came to be and why the metals reflect the way they reflect and, all of the different things associated with the aesthetic. But they also go in further explaining the creation of the Vanduul race and how the ships were designed to with all those functions that were previously mentioned in mind, but also to kind of mirror and replicate the same feeling and vibe that the race has. So their culture kits kind of all align up. It wouldn't make sense to have this aggressive looking, blade carrying type beast in a saucer that floats around. So it's really cool that they're keeping that culture
flown by a bunch of people that look like teddy bears, right?
Exactly.
Well, have you got your citizen card yet?
I have not received my metal card, and at the time that I wrote these notes, it didn't look like anyone was getting their metal cards. But luckily, I found a couple posts on both Reddit and the RSI forums, and of course, you're seeing a post every 10 minutes on Reddit about someone getting their card.
Speaking of Reddit, there have been so many people posting there, oh hey look, I got my card, things on Reddit. That there are threads on Reddit of people complaining like, dude, we know you got your card. You don't have everybody in the world doesn't have to show us that you got your card.
Right, but I did see in one of those posts where it was, well, let's consolidate it. Somebody in the Netherlands reported getting their metal card, and they look nice. Yeah. They look really cool. I still kind of I almost want to see both next to each other, because it looked like on the metal card picture that someone posted that the paint might be flaking off around the edges.
Ooh, that's not good.
My OCD tendencies are going to kick in, and I'm not going to like it. I'm going to have to put it like in a laminate or something. But, keeping on.
I don't doubt that you would do that.
Yeah. I almost definitely will. No popcorn in the chosen house.
But man, they do freaking look amazing. And I'm so upset with myself for not getting one.
Yeah, now a lot of people have been wondering, is it going to be possible for us to order cards again? And
if it is, I'm on it like that.
Yeah, I think that it's a great fundraising idea to get, the new subscribers in. But kind of all the information I'm seeing, it's possible that they might let you order cards, but almost certainly you will not be able to personalize them. Right now you're getting, your, whatever name you want on there, your IRL name, your forum name, what you're going to be called in game, and your personalized
name.
Your personalized, forum ID. But that seems like that's going to be kind of a limited edition run, and while I really love the exclusivity of limited edition type runs and collector's items, I also see it as a great way to build some money. So I wouldn't be surprised.
You're right. I mean, if they need to hit that next tier, right? If they want to do that last push to hit 10 million, do another round of card sales.
I'm gonna say it now. They're gonna hit that $10 million mark before June 15th. I'm going to say 2 weeks and they hit that mark.
All right.
And if they don't, I'm not going to eat my shoe or anything like that, but almost certainly.
If they don't, you'll make a generous donation to make it happen.
Right. Almost certainly, though, they're going to hit it before the end of June. I'm thinking that this would be a great pre-Christmas stocking stuffer type gift that'll help, that'll help keep the funding going during the holiday season. And, a lot of money that would be spent on other Christmas gifts could be spent as pledge gifts, and help the game and get a gift for somebody as well. So
that is true. I did not think about that.
That's why I'm in marketing, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see cards again. But I'm kind of thinking, and based on what I'm reading, that personalized cards are going to be a relic.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do too.
I like it. If they do it again, no question, no hesitation, I'm doing it.
If they do it again, I'm going to get a plastic one as well, just so I can have kind of that side-by-side comparison.
So, Chris, if you're listening, please, thank you.
Holiday time, let's put those sales out in September.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we have a couple plugs to do, right?
Yeah, I definitely want to plug one of our fellow podcasters out there. Dr. Hawk from Star Citizen FM interviewed Chris Roberts. And what was great about this interview, and Dr. Hawk always does great stuff, but this interview was focused more on the development process and goals and less about the gameplay. It wasn't so much, well, tell us about this mechanic. It was more, how are you achieving the goals? What is your production timelines? So from that point of view, it's a very unique interview. Every interview we're seeing and is, how is the ship repair droid going to work? Or how are you handling PvP?
It's very specific, very all over the place kind of stuff,
Well, not,
right?
not only that, I almost think it's too soon for those type of questions. But this
Yeah.
is more, okay. Well, you said that you wanted to do a new website, you wanted to do, the Hanger module and the dogfighting module. How are you guys getting there? What are your steps and your processes for doing that? So it's a really cool thing from a development point of view and a project management point of view to see how they're getting there. Dividing it up into tasks and to meet that goal, but not such a where okay, well, this person's in charge of lighting throughout the Hanger module into Squadron 42 and into Star Citizen. You can see how they're breaking it apart and how that design philosophy is carrying through. And so far, so good. I mean, they're hitting their timelines, so we should start to see some good stuff. If you're looking for that, search for Star Citizen or Dr. Hawk. That's DR no space HAWK, excuse me, on YouTube. We'll also put a link there. He was also featured on the on RSI's website in both their forum section, I believe in the comlink or fan spotlight area as well. But it's definitely worth checking out. Another thing to kind of follow along with the Hanger module, the Black Widow company tours the 300i cockpit. So this was really an incredible experience to see what the cockpit is going to look like. Now, granted, it's the 300i. So it's a little bit sleeker and smaller than some of the larger cockpits that we might see, but we get to see the elaborate yet simple displays. You've got a few heads-up displays, and I love, and I know it's not practical, and I know we'll never see it when we have true space travel of this caliber, but I love the switches and knobs. I don't
right.
I don't know why. I just love that power up shields, flip a switch. I love that.
You'd think it'd be voice command, right?
No, it's going to be voice command or all, touch interface, all like a touch screen or some other version of an interface that hasn't yet been invented, but almost certainly it will not be switches and knobs. And I love that. We see that from the very earliest to contemporary aircraft, up through the space shuttle and the Apollo stuff and through Wing Commander. So it's something that everyone's familiar with, and it's not so alien or abstract.
Yep.
That we don't know what to do with it, and it's not so futuristic, even with the touchscreen, that you don't feel like you could replicate it. With a good rig definitely. And a good, flight setup, joystick, pedals, and, a couple, hotkeys, you could almost replicate that cockpit and get that realistic, I'm flipping this switch, and if this switch does something, then I can, replicate that through a key binding and have that very similar setup. And I think for those people that are really into that simulation style of it, are going to, if their jaws aren't on the ground right now, I mean, I don't know what more. Just
looking at the, how they walk through the center of the ship and everything, because this is a pretty long, fairly thin ship, and when you get up to the cockpit, I mean, there's a lot of glass. There's a lot of, you have full visibility of everything, and there's a lot of control panels. And, it's kind of hard to see in the video that's been released, but it looks like the lighting and everything that's coming off of those panels. There's a lot of blues and a lot of blues and blacks and stuff like that. And I don't know. To me, it just looks really sleek, really modern. I don't know. I like it. The 300i, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is carrying over that luxury type feel. And we're seeing that in the interface. The interface is very reminiscent of, if you Google search, modern jet aircraft, the new Boeings or even the new consumer level commercial jets, like the Lears and Bombardier type style jets, they all have that they all have that same style interface, and it's sleek. It works. I'm very excited to see Hanger module for us being able to hop in those cockpits, and if we can't, well, I guess we'll have to wait for the dogfighting module, but I can't wait. I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to see and compare just how, fast and maneuverable each ship is against, one of its partners. Get an Aurora right next to a 300i and just punch it, see how it works out.
Or heck, comparing the Aurora to the Aurora LX. Seeing if those leather seats make the difference.
I'm willing to bet the patent leather interior boosts something.
Right. Some non-existent
if anything,
aerodynamics.
ego.
You're more confident, so you'll fly better. And the 300i Wait, in the Aurora LX model.
Yes, your ass will hurt less, so you will fly better.
Right.
Well, that's all we got tonight, folks. This is episode 4.
Episode 4 in the can.
That's right.
More episodes coming as more information becomes available. Keep those comments coming. We didn't get a lot of comments today, and I think it's because most people have now started switching over to our podcast feeds. But if you're listening to this and you are listening to the podcast feed and you do want to make a comment, go to our YouTube channel, put a comment there, post on our Reddit post as we update our episodes there, and of course in the RSI forums as we make our updates there. You can always let us know on our own website if you're a member of our community. Hop in our forums, give us a shout, or hop in our TeamSpeak and let us know if there's anything that you'd like us to know, cover, etc. As always, subscribe to all 3 streams, like us on Facebook, refer us to your friends, whatever.
Tell your grandparents.
That's
I'm
right.
sure they'll love it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. That's it.
That's all.
We're
folks.
outta here.
See you later.
Long live the fold.
That's right.